It is a dark age. A bloody age. An age of war. The gods are cruel, and we are their playthings. But this is no game. It is ceaseless war, with the old world its prize. Many seek the path to victory, but only one can stand glorious over all. From the Badlands come the orcs and goblins, a green tide of brutal creatures that must be stopped. In Sylvania, the dead rise again. The vampire counts march forth. Mighty dwarf kingdoms, long thought diminished, are resurgent under their high king. And at the old world's heart stands the Empire. Karl Franz must prove worthy of the Warhammer. Chaos, its corrupting, changing taint, despoils all before it. Only the strongest will endure. War is upon us. It is unending.
Hello, I am Mal, and welcome to Total War Warhammer, new Let's Play for the channel. If you're not familiar with me, I play a lot of strategy, simulation, and role-playing games, and obviously Total War Warhammer falls firmly into that strategy genre. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Wolfric, who's a community member, who actually gifted this to me off of Steam, so thank you very much for that. Let's get into this. Go with a new campaign. Okay, so you can choose the Empire, the Dwarves, just like the opening cutscene showed us. So we've got the Empire, which is the human, the Dwarves, the Greenskins, which is the Orcs and Goblins, and you've got the Warriors of Chaos, so the corrupted humanoids, and then you have the Vampire Counts. Now, this was the most interesting to me. I did play it just a little bit to get myself, just to get familiar with the game a little bit. I did play Total War Rome 2 quite a bit. I never featured it on the channel, and I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I really like the Warhammer Universe. Matter of fact, I'm playing a 40k Warhammer game right now, Battlefleet Gothic, as well as this, so I've been really getting into it, so I'm excited. So let's take a look here. Let's look at the faction mechanics. We can only capture territory that belongs to other Vampire Count factions, or any human factions except for Norska. Alright? We can raise dead. New units can be raised from the dead in any province. Corruption. Vampiric corruption can be spread in enemy territory, leading to public order problems and even vampiric rebellions. That's pretty cool. Okay, and our top 3 units, we've got the Varghof, which is a monster, and some of these things are really big. These things are super cool. And then we've got the Terrorgeist, which is a flying monster, and then Hexwraith. So I haven't been able to mess around with the Hexwraith or the Terrorgeist yet. I'm looking forward to that. And then playstyle here, a strong battle magic options, including raising new units from the dead. Units can cause fear. Instead of routing, units will suffer casualties when losing in combat. We don't have any missile units, so that's kind of the downside, is that you're sort of forced to go with only melee, but we'll make it work. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so our faction leader here is Manfred von Kastren. Probably butchering that name a little bit. Powerful melee fighter, leader, and wizard, has access to both lore of vampires and lore of death. Let's see, what else? We get +5 campaign movement range, all characters, -10% for graveyard and Black Knight unit upkeep, and additional starting units. We get some Crypt Ghouls, we get some Fellbats. Oh, and this Vargulf thing, this monster thing is really cool. Okay, and I'm just going to play on normal, at least for this first run through. Because again, I'm not an expert yet on Total War. So let's get started.
War is eternal. As inevitable as the grave. The old world, the rotting corpse within. Some fools think it worth saving. But there are beings who wish to bring about an eternal night. I am a bearer of lore to those with such power. Mighty vampire counts of the von Carstein bloodline. My master, Manfred, has returned from the dead once more. He marches on the von Carstein ancestral pile of Castle Dragonhof. For I have brought him ill news that a master necromancer has claimed the fortress as his own. Manfred must retake his ancient stronghold, and either destroy the usurper within, or bind him to his will.
Alright, so this first part is sort of a tutorial, sort of introduction, so it'll be a little bit on rails, but we're going to go through it anyway. Some kind of cool story stuff.
Castle Drakenhof is back in your hands, my unliving sire. Yet you have many enemies, both living and dead, who balk at the threat of a von Carstein reigning from his ancestral stronghold. Much needs to be done. The Tempelhof brood control the lands to the north as far as the River Ster. Conflict with them is inevitable, but your will is indomitable. Take their lands, burn their crypts, and deploy their own dead against them. The high mountains to the south are infested with dwarfs. Your homelands will never be safe with such an enemy so close. Make plans to drive their stunted kind out in time. Greatness runs throughout the von Carstein bloodline, my lord. Glory shall be yours, if you are ambitious enough to seize it.
Okay, so we've got our first mission issued. The Tempelhof brood must be crushed in battle before they're able to regain their strength. Another victory against Van Kurgen's armies will leave his lands ripe for the taking. Okay, so defeat any army belonging to them. We can do that. So let's talk about the interface just a little bit, because there's an awful lot. So up here we've got missions and quests, which you can see right here. Then we've got events. We've got forces, we've got provinces, which right now, let's see, what do we have? We've got the castle here, and in this game you have provinces. So Eastern Sylvania is a province. So if we look here on the strategic map, we can see that these three cities, or these are actually like villages basically. These make up the province, so you want to try to always control an entire province. Right now we only have this one section, Castle Drakendorf. We'll get them, all in due time. Let's see. Down here, we've got objectives, we've got technology. We need to pick something to research. I think I'm going to focus on this line over here. Book of the Blood. This is mostly like you can see here, plus 10 growth to all provinces, income, repression, repression buildings plus 15%. This is mostly infrastructure stuff, but I like this stuff that gives you like overall bonuses versus things that are mostly about giving like strength to specific creatures and whatnot. I like these global ones better, so that's what I'm going to focus most of my research on throughout this campaign. If anyone's got suggestions about this, or when we're talking about the hero in terms of what to pick here in terms of skills, when I was playing on my own, I went for the Restless Dead, and I kind of went down this pretty far. And then once I unlocked these higher end tiers that open up at certain levels, like this one opens up at rank 8, then I just sort of progressed this way and started working on getting the Hellsteed and whatnot. But if you think there's particularly good things to choose here, let me know what you think. Just curious, just put it in the description, or excuse me, the comments below the video. Okay, now, we'll get into the whole picking skills and all this stuff once we actually level up. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'll try to explain as I go. So we're on the campaign map. There's 2 modes. You've got this campaign map where you manage your different provinces. Matter of fact, we can do we have a construction slot open. Charnel Pit or Tarnished Gold Chef. Let's get the Tarnished Gold Chef for some more income. Depending on the size of your city, dictates how many of these particular unlocks that you have to build more structures. I'll talk about that more as we do it. But you manage the provinces and you move yourself around this strategic map. You can have more than one army, obviously. And then it's turn-based, so you do all your movement here. When you get into combat, it opens up into real-time conflict if you want to, or you can have it auto-resolve. Let me show you that. Okay, so we will likely win this. We could auto-resolve it. This balance of power here, you can see that the yellow bar is sort of overtaking the red bar. This means that chances are greatly in our favor that we'll win. I'm going to go ahead and do this fight, though, just so I can show you the real-time combat part of the game. Okay, now we can gamble for more favorable wins. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to start deployment. Okay, and let's see. Let's put the zombies and the crypt ghouls. Use control here to highlight those. That'll be group 1. And I'm going to make a second group. It'll be group 2. Our leader will be group 4 by himself. And our bats, which are kind of like cavalry, will be group 3. Now, let's see. Let's look at deployment. They're over here on that hill, huh? And what do you have? Looks like all melee units as well, since you're another vampiric count or whatever, undead. Technically, it's a necromancer leading them. We could just hang out right up here, actually. I don't know if there's much reason for us to, though. I was going to say we could hide in the... There's really no reason to do it. I was going to say we could hide in the trees to get cover, but they don't have any ranged units. So there's really not a big reason to do that. We could do something like this. We could put the these guys over here, I guess. Then move them out when we need them, and then put our leader right here with everyone, and start. Yeah, everybody should be on melee focus. I changed their set formation like this. Alright, let's move over here. We'll let them come to us. Them having to fight uphill is an advantage for us, if we wait for them. Might be able to bait them into coming forward, I don't know. We'll see. Let's go harass them a little bit.
These are mine. Only in a life will they see.
We'll speed it up a little bit. Middle mouse button to rotate around, or you can use Q and E, and then use the mouse button to kind of zoom in or out. What do you got there? Oh, dire wolves, huh? Okay. Let me move in a little bit and see if I can bait them to come out. Think we're gonna have to go forward, meet them in that valley. Come on, disengage. Yeah, let's go. We're gonna lose them if we don't get them out of there. Look at this guy. Oh, he's just awesome. Love it. If you're wondering about that blue circle, that aura, that's the aura that's coming off of our leader. So we got, let's see, Spirit Leech, and then we've also got Evocation of Nehek, which is the thing that helps us, like, resurrect our guys and beef them up. It's probably the one I'll use. And that's powered by this right here. You can see it costs 6 to do it. We've got 30 currently. Don't really want to go up the hill here, but let's take these ghouls and move them over here by themselves. Alright, these guys we'll send in as sort of the frontline guys. They're sort of expendable. The zombies. And they create fear, which is nice. Yeah, we got the dogs coming in. Okay. There we go. Should be able to surround them and kill them off pretty quick. Oh, their leader? Are you out in the middle of nowhere? That's stupid, dude. I don't know what that guy was thinking. Matter of fact, get the flying guys on him too. Okay, go ahead and engage them.
Preternatural. Sylvania rules the night.
Alright. Let's... Oh, the two leaders are fighting? That's awesome. I could use this direct damage on him.
Address thee as master. Attack. Suffer death.
Enemy lord is dead. There we go. Nice. There we go. Let's power up our guys.
True power.
Oh, we lost our bats. That's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, let's go finish these guys off. Okay, doing all right over here. Yep, there we go. Decisive victory. That's pretty good. We lost 196, he lost 541. There we go, so we got some loot. Oh, we picked up an item? Seriously? Wow, that was great. Tribute causes terror. These are random things that you can get, items that you can add to your character, and you can move them around as you see fit. But we'll get into that more later. Okay, so we've got a choice here to return the captives, which will give us some dark magic, basically currency. Then we've got murder captains, that'll give us +4 leadership, or dominate the captives, gives us unit replenishment on 1%. We're gonna go ahead and murder them, get +4 leadership from that. Should complete our quest, it did, so we got another 1,000. We gained an item. Okay, and now we are level 2.
Vulnerable to attack, Dark Lord. Seize it from the enemy to open a new front to the north.
Okay, so it wants us to capture this village. But let's go ahead and look at our character. We're now level 2. And you can see here, enchanted item. We've got this terrifying mask of the E. If we had something else, we could equip it, or we can take it off, or what have you. But there's no reason not to leave it on right now. But this is different, as far as I know, as far as the Total War games, where you actually get like individual items for your lords. It's pretty cool. And we've got a skill point. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Restless Dead, plus 10% campaign movement. Okay, and then you can see here, there's this green and then there's like a yellow bar that'll tell me how much of these units will regenerate, health-wise, in the next turn. And you can see right here, their replenishment. Troops replenished per turn 21. Turns until this unit's fully replenished 3. And then we have this option down below where we can recruit units from the local area, what's available, or we can raise dead. The difference is that you can raise dead anywhere, basically, and supplement your units, and then they're instantly added, versus if you do recruitment, they are not. They are not instantly added. So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and recruit a few more units. Grab a couple of, maybe one skeletal warrior, and a couple of zombies to sort of supplement. And you can see these will be ready in a turn. Get 3 that you can do local recruitment per turn. You can go ahead and queue more than that, but it'll take multiple turns to get them. And then raise dead, maybe raise 1 skeletal spearman, something that's tougher. There we go, you can see he was added instantly. Okay. What else can we do here? Anything? Yeah, we can upgrade to a Type 2 building, or Type 2 town. So right now it's just a cemetery, we can upgrade it to a barrow. Or excuse me, here's the city line. Apologies. The cemetery gives us zombies and skeletal warriors, and then if we move up, we get grave guard and skeletal spearmen. But this will also require that we build an ancient armory. Right, okay, I remember. Let's go ahead and do that upgrade then. Let's see. Do we want to do any... We can't do any edict effects right now. which is what's here, because we don't own the province yet.
Thou darest. Absolutely.
And we've got no movement available. All right, let's go ahead and end the turn then. We can get to Eshin this turn. The question is, do we want to? I mean, he has his army there, so... I think what we do is we recruit... one more skeletal warrior, one more zombie. Actually, let's get 2 zombies. And we'll move to attack next turn.
Destroy them.
I think this other army's out of reinforcement range.
Destruction.
Nope, says he's gonna have it. But balance of power shows that we're okay. Alright. Well, for this one, I'll go ahead and auto-resolve. Since we've got such a huge advantage. Don't worry, I'll do a lot of the... I'll try to mix in auto-resolve versus doing the combat manually here and there. Obsidian Blade, wow, I'm really looking out, and that's a rare. That's awesome. Okay, so now we have the option to occupy, which will reduce the public order. In other words, it's going to make it more unstable, and we'll have to sort of rebuild up the confidence of people and get them to calm down. Instability, and then it's going to increase our unit replenishment. Or we can occupy and loot, which means we basically get some cash and sort of destroy the place. Or we can sack it, which is, or excuse me, occupy it. We can take some stuff and still occupy it. Or we can sack it, which is just take everything that we can and leave. Or we can raise it, which just burns it completely to the ground, you know, no more settlement. I think what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and occupy. So let's take a look at this new place we got.
The taint of undeath is spread by your conquests, mighty lord. Your
Occupy,
realm
loot, raise, or
grows,
sack 2
and
different
more distant
locations. Okay.
lands now fall under your gaze. The Empire and other kingdoms of men lie to the north and west. There you may feast for the living.
All right, sounds good. All right, so now you can see an eastern
expeditionary force close to your territory, my lord.
Oh,
Such
Battle of
a fate
Hell
cannot
Finn.
be tolerated. Show them that you are master of these lands once again.
All right, so this is sort of a story-related event. Okay, which we'll do. We're just not going to do it right in this second. This right here. It's a story event. It's kind of cool, actually. Alright, so here in Eastern Sylvania, you now see that we have Castle Drakendorf, or Drakenhof, excuse me, and then we have Eshin. And Eshin, we cannot build this because we don't have 2 populations, so we can't upgrade the town. Cemetery. Now, we already have a cemetery here, so we don't really need another one. We don't need to... We have one in the province, so we don't need this duplication. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to demolish this. It'll take a turn, and then we'll put something else here that maybe will be more useful. Let's take a look at the overall map. Okay, so we have these 2 sections, and let me zoom out to show you here. Yeah, so it's a pretty big game world, and let's go see. Let's take a look at. Where's it at? Technology objectives. Here we go. So here's the chapter objectives. We need to occupy, loot, raise, or sack 2 different settlements. And then for victory conditions, maintain control of 20 provinces, be either direct control or through vassals and military allies. and then destroy the following factions: the Empire, the Dwarves, and whoever these folks are. So there's quite a bit before we'll actually get to long campaign victory. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. I hope that you have enjoyed this first episode of Total War Warhammer and that you join me for more. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I am Mal, and I'll see you later.